Hello everyone. We are coming to class 12, the second chapter, which is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So, before we go into the sexual reproduction of our flowering plants, we need to know what is the structure of the flower. Flowers has got rapid use. Okay, it can be used for the aesthetic purpose, it can be used for social purpose, ornamental, cultural values, everything. Okay, so whatever be the flowering plant, it's usually the plants, these flowering plants, they show sexual reproduction. So whenever we are going to talk about reproduction in flowering plant, we are specifically trying to emphasize on the sexual reproduction. So herein, if you see, this is the flower, the section of the flower, lateral section of the flower. So we're here, the outermost layer. So a flower has got four whorls. Okay, a flower has got four whorls. So what are the whorls? The outermost whorl, which is the sepal. So this whorl is the sepal. Then inside that there is a whorl which is the petal. Okay, so this whorl is the petal or corolla. Then we have the next whorl which is the stamen. Okay, this whorl is the stamen, or I can say the androecium layer, or the male part of the flower. Okay, so this is the third whorl, which is a stamen, a carpel. Now the innermost whorl is the pistil. So there are four whorls. So the outermost whorl is the sepal, second is petal, then is the stamen, and then is the pistil. Okay, so now looking here, you see we have the petals, the yellow ones. Okay, so this is a petal, and the male part we have the stamen. So when we talk about the stamen of the flower, it has got a filament and it has got an anther. Okay, so here is a filament of the flower and anther, which is bilobed. Okay, now coming to the female part of the flower, it has got a stigma, style, and ovary. So it will have a stigma at the top. This is stigma. The lower portion is style, very delicate, and this is ovary. Okay, fine. So below this ovary is being attached to the stalk or the thalamus or the receptacle. Alright, now coming to pre-fertilization structure and events. So pre-fertilization, what happens? So much before the actual flower is seen, there is an inflorescence. Inflorescence means there is a formation of floral buds. Okay, so there are various hormonal changes that will occur, showing that they are going to flower. Okay, so that is known as inflorescence. Alright, so now coming to the stamen, microsporangium, and the pollen grains. So in the stamen, it is long, slender. You see the stamen is there, a long, slender portion. Okay, and this is known as a filament. The terminal generally bilobe structure, this is called as anther. Okay, and the proximal end of the filament is attached to the thalamus. See, it is attached to the thalamus. Okay, or the petal of the flower. The number and the length of stamens, it varies in flowers of different species. So if you collect flowers of different species, if you collect different flowers, you will see that it will vary. So now coming to a typical angiosperm anther. So whenever we see an angiosperm anther, it is bilobed. That is, it has got two lobes. Okay, see, it has got bilobed. Okay, so that is why they are known as diathecous. Often this longitudinal groove runs lengthwise, separating the theca. So it will separate the theca. And now this bilobed nature of the anther is very distinct in transverse section of anther. The anther is four-lobed. It is tetragonal. So it has, see, four lobes are there. So these four lobes, there is a structure, and the anther is a four-sided structure consisting of four microsporangia located at the corners. So you see here, there is four microsporangia which is located at the corner. Okay, so four microsporangia is there. The microsporangia will develop into the pollen sac. So they extend longitudinally all through the length of the anther and are packed with pollen grains. Now coming to the structure of microsporangium. So what is the structure of microsporangium? In the transverse section, a typical microsporangium appears near like circular structures. I showed you it is circular in structure. Okay, it is generally surrounded by four walls, that is four layers. The outer is the epidermis, then we have the endothecium, and then we have the middle layer, and then the tapetum. Okay, so there is a middle layer, and then the tapetum is there. Okay, so now it nourishes the developing pollen grains. Cell of the tapetum possess dense cytoplasm and generally have more than one nucleus. So when the anther is young, a group of compactly arranged homogeneous cells called sporangious tissue occupies the center of the sporangium. Now what is sporogenesis? Microsporogenesis is as the anther develops, the cells of the sporangious tissue, they undergo meiotic division to form microspores. So they will undergo meiotic division. Okay, as each cell of the sporangia tissue is capable of giving rise to microspore tetrad, each one is a potential pollen or microspore mother cell. Okay, so the process of formation of microspores from pollen mother cell through meiosis is microsporogenesis. So there is a formation of pollen grains or microspores from the pollen mother cell. So that is microsporogenesis. The microspores as they form are arranged in clusters of 4. Microspores are tetrad in nature. So whenever meiosis occurs, you should know that there is a reduction of the number of chromosomes. So you see they are tetrad in nature. Okay, so next, as the anther mature and dehydrate, the microspores will dissociate from each other and will be released. Okay, and they will develop into the pollen grains. Fine. Now coming to the pollen grains. So the pollen grains represent the male gametophyte. So who is the male gametophyte? The pollen grains. Okay. Now if you sprinkle some pollen grains on a glass slide and observe under a microscope, you will see the structure. It has got 2 layers. So pollen grains has 2 layers. One is exine, the outer layer, and one is intine, the inner layer. Okay. So now here exine is made of sporopollenin, which is one of the most resistant organic material known. So it will resist them from temperature or strong acids, alkali and everything. No enzyme that degrades sporopollenin is so far known. Pollen grains, exine has prominent aperture called germ pores. So it has got some germ pores which is there. Okay. So now where the sporopollenin is absent. Pollen grains are well preserved as fossils because of the presence of sporopollenin. The exine exhibit a fascinating array of patterns and design. So the inner wall of the pollen grain is intine. It is very thin and continuous layer made up of cellulose and pectin. The cytoplasm of the pollen grain is surrounded by plasma membrane. When the pollen grains is mature, they will form vegetative and generative cell. The vegetative cell is bigger and has abundant food reserve and large irregular shaped nucleus. The generative cell in turn is very small and it flows in the cytoplasm of the vegetative cell. It is spindle shaped and with dense cytoplasm and nucleus. So it is over 60% of the angiosperms pollen grains are shed at this 2-cell stage. In the remaining species, the generative cell divides mitotically and gives rise to 2 male gametes before the pollen grain shed. The pollen grains of many species cause severe allergies and bronchial infections. In some often it is leading to chronic respiratory disorders like asthma, bronchitis and all those. So it may be mentioned that Parthenium, a carrot grass that came into India as a contaminant with improved wheat, has become ubiquitous in occurrence and caused pollen allergy. Okay, so the pollen grains are also very rich in nutrients. So it has been used as a supplement for the athletes and everything. So you have this bee pollen. Okay, when once they are shed, pollen grains have to land onto the stigma before they get fertilized. So it is very important that the pollen grains are viable. So different pollen grains have their own viability. Few may be viable for 30 minutes, whereas few may be month-long viable. Okay, that's it with the male system of the reproductive flower. Okay, thank you.